Hello everybody, this is AlienButlerBlunders, and it's been some months since I've last used my channel. It's good to see that some of my videos have been doing quite well and that some people have been watching them, and it's always nice to see. Quick comment, I am a little bit frustrated that the new YouTube guidelines mean that when you post a video, you have to specify whether it's made for kids or made for adults. If it's made for kids, you can't comment. The comments are automatically disabled. If it's made for adults, you can only watch it if you're over 18. So there's funny restrictions on it. So I'm afraid most of my videos will have to be made for kids, and the comments will have to be deactivated because it is all kid-friendly content. Of course, it's just the new stricter guidelines. I would like to receive some feedback from people, some comments and stuff. So there's the chance I might put in a link to another board or a blog or something where people can start commenting. I'd love to get some feedback and commentary and stuff. But anyway, so that short part over, I'd like to bring to your attention two lovely figures I've received today. They're part of the Jurassic World toy line. They're part of the Dual Attack line, which they were both released in 2018 for the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom film. And they are the Concavenator figure, which is a lovely theropod dinosaur, and the Quetzalcoatlus, which is a very, very impressive pterosaur figure. And they both have two functions. That's why they're called dual attack. So the Concubinator, if you press down its hump, it flicks its tail like that. And if you press this part on its back, it bites, which is quite cool. And the Quetzalcoatlus also has two buttons on its back. So the first one does make it bite. It's a very nice smooth action, and also flap its wings. So they're so large that it is quite hard to get them in frame of my camera on my desk as I usually do, but I'll try and do the best I can. So anyway, talking about the Concubinator figure, first off, I don't really collect that many Jurassic World figures or Jurassic Park figures, as you can tell from my other videos. I first came to dinosaur toys a few years ago and started picking them up as a mature person because of scientific accuracy and stuff, and I came to it for scientific accuracy and more as a model than a play toy. So I haven't really gone for the Jurassic World toys. I was more into the science side of it, but anyway, actually receiving them, they are very, very lovely. Obviously they're missing a few of the higher standards of detail that you would see in a Safari LTD figure or a Collect Day figure, and they do look like the dinosaurs in the film, but nonetheless they do have a slightly more cartoonish appearance than some of the other dinosaur figures out there. But anyway, they're still very, very lovely. Kids are going to love them. They're wonderful, but more serious collectors might have to think about whether they want them as a scientific toy or as an action figure, or just because they're part of the film series, which is so famous. Anyway, so with the Concubinator, its length is 30 centimeters. It's a lovely large figure. The best comparison I have for theropod toys is the Schleich Tyrannosaurus, which I reviewed in another video. I'll leave that link in the description below, but as you can see, there is a bit of a gap in detail. Obviously, the people who produced this have tried to give it some lovely detail, but it is missing some of the higher quality of some of the other dinosaur toys. Anyway, this isn't the best example. It's not the most accurate toy, but it suggests what I'm talking about. Anyway, so the Concavenator figure is lovely. It's articulated as all the Jurassic World toys are. The legs move, they're on a joint so you can move them out as well. So it makes posing it a bit easier. The arms do have quite a bit of movement, which is nice. I only really like to keep them down. The head's quite lovely. It is reminiscent of the Indominus Rex as well as the Indoraptor. And yeah, it's quite nice. So the jaw action there's quite a decent one, and so is the lever tail action, quite good. So yeah, I mean, it's quite cool, I suppose. The scales on the feet are quite good. The claws are quite nice. They are quite nice feet. The only thing is they are a little bit larger than they would have been on the real Concavenator dinosaur. So it obviously being a toy, it's not 100% accurate. Being an action figure, I should say, but it's still very, very lovely, and I'm quite surprised by the attention to scientific accuracy on some of the things. I mean, I think the hands have got one too many fingers, and they're sort of like human hands like that when they should be stuck to the side, as theropod hands were. But other than that, the head's quite nice. They've got the accurate little crest on there. I think the jaw's a little bit too wide for Concavenator in real life. It would have had quite a thinner face, as Carcharodontosaurus dinosaurs did. So before I finish up on this figure, I'm just going to say it's lovely to see this dinosaur produced by the Jurassic World, toy line. I mean, it didn't appear in the film. It hasn't really appeared in any of the films. It's quite an obscure dinosaur, and Concubinator isn't the first dinosaur which springs to mind. It's just quite a medium-sized predatory dinosaur from Spain with a funny hump on its back. But other than that, it's quite a conservative dinosaur. But anyway, yeah, I suppose it's quite lovely. Yeah. If I was going to give it a rating out of 10, as an action figure, it does about everything it could do. So I'd probably say it was about 7 out of 10 based on that. 7 out of 10 is a good rating for it. The colour scheme's particularly impressive about it. I don't really have any direct criticism of it, other than the fact that, as I've just said, it's not really what I go for when I think of dinosaur toys. But anyway, it's still lovely. The thing is, the dinosaurs tend to go out of production quite quickly for Jurassic World figures. So this was available about 2 years ago and a year ago for about £20 on Amazon, but suddenly stopped being produced. So it's now out of production. But so I'm quite happy to have picked this up, knowing that I wouldn't be able to buy it properly anyway. But anyway, it's very nice. So that concludes this figure. It is quite nice. Do pick up the Jurassic World figures if you can. And next I'm going to bring in the Quetzalcoatlus. Now this is a very, very massive figure, very, very large. If I compare the Concavenator to it, you can see that the Quetzalcoatlus really is a huge piece of plastic. Even though it's part of the same toy line, it's just because it's so thin and so broad. And they're about the same weight. It's just that this is a skinnier animal, so with a very long, thin neck. Again, I was quite impressed to see this, because it's not the go-to dinosaur for toy companies. As the same for Concavenator, it didn't appear in the films. Even though you see quite a few toys for Quetzalcoatlus from like Papo and things, people usually go for Pteranodon. But anyway, it's lovely to see this. In terms of accuracy, they really have done a surprisingly good job of it. Just like with the Concavenator, the crest is right, the skull's right. They've got the massive oversized neck, which the pterosaur had in real life. The wings are quite nice. They're quite a hard piece of plastic, not brittle at all, and they've got a joint on them so you can fold it back, which I think would have been easier which is easier for putting it away in a drawer or something. And in real life, when the animal would have been walking on the ground, it would have folded its hand. Its hand would have been in contact with the ground, and this part would have folded back. So it would have had quite long legs, quite long front legs that ends like that on the ground, and the finger would stretch back there. And so it would have walked along the ground on funny folded wings like that. Obviously, you can't do that with the toy, and I've never seen a toy which allows you to actually do that. They're either posed in a flying position or in a walking position, and this is the flying position, which is more common. So I don't know. Anyway, as with the Concavenator, I had to point out that they don't have the name on the bottom of them. I only knew this immediately when looking at it because I'm just quite familiar with what these animals look like, but they don't have the name imprinted on the bottom of them as many other dinosaur toys do. Instead, they've got this little sticker icon, and I think there's an app you can get, and when you scan it with your phone, it gives you lots of information about the animal or the dinosaur or whatever kind of prehistoric creature it is. I don't have that app. I haven't got round to doing it. I might do it later, but anyway, for the moment, it's quite nice. A fair comment on these figures is the color scheme and the application of paint is actually really clever, really inventive. They're not just trashy toys. They've obviously made an effort to make them quite good. It reminds me of a toucan, the bright yellow beak and the crest on the head as well, or like a hornbill. And the eye colour is quite nice. There is quite a nice, accurate little eye in there, as you can see. The inside of the beak's got some indentations for the underside of the jaw as well as the bottom and the tongue. It's just generally quite nice. The base plastic is like an olive with these tiny little purple specks in them. So I think they've had a funny little base plastic there that gives it a nice, more, what's the word for it? It gives the kind of texture, almost like a scaly texture to the animal, which is quite nice. Obviously, animals are never just one colour. It's a mixture of tones and colours, so that's quite nice. Yeah, so it's just really nice. So I'd probably give this figure the same score of 7 out of 10. It is lovely, as I've said, but it just doesn't really match up to some of the other dinosaur or pterosaur or prehistoric creature figures I'm used to. So the only other pterosaur I have in my collection is the Schleich Anhanguera, which is similar to the other Schleich Tyrannosaurus I showed you, and as you can see, it just does have more detail. And I do prefer dinosaurs and prehistoric animal figures to be of a bit of a smaller size. I don't really like too big figures because you can't really fit that many on a shelf at once. This is the only problem with this figure, that I don't really know where I'm going to put it. I think I might put it on the very top of my bookshelf, but you can't really see it if it's too high up because it's quite flat. So I don't know. I think ideally I'd want a dinosaur figure or a prehistoric animal figure which can stand up quite well by itself. This can't really stand up well. I don't know. But still, anyway, would have been great fun for kids playing with it. So, yeah. This basically concludes my figure review for today. Thank you very much for watching. As I've said, I was quite surprised by these. I was quite impressed by these. I'm not a Jurassic Park figure collector, but anyway, picking these up, they're very, very nice figures, consistent with the look of the films. The colours are lovely, and yeah, they do just scream Jurassic World when you look at them. They're not just any toys, they are definitely Jurassic World toys. They've got the aesthetic of the films with them. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. So thank you again for watching.